I do not trust the wolves, for they have proven themselves creatures of opportunity, of individualism, of lax morals, and of unforgivable disregard for our origin. Yet I respect them, for they are warriors bred true in accordance with our tradition. But to send the wolves, freeborn bastards, to the inner sphere is folly heaped upon folly. Fellow Khans, I swear upon my oath to Turkina herself that once these lowborns are free of clan obedience, they will never willingly return. Across the stars, binaries, trinaries, and galaxies of the clan Tumans, the Omnimech may reign supreme, but it didn't get there alone. Countless other warriors in battle mechs, battle armor, and even on foot made victories possible and held on to them long after the frontline warriors had left the system. If there's a battle mech that accurately demonstrates the workhorse unit of clan battle mech technology, it's the Conjurer. 50 tons of grit and determination, the second-line battle mech called the HellHound by Inner Sphere forces who faced it is one of the most frequently deployed designs across almost every clan. To really understand the mech and why it's included in what was otherwise been a series mainly focused on 2C designs, we're going to have to go back even further in history. We're going to have to talk about the Wolverine. First developed as a swift brawler which could back up lighter scouting units, the Wolverine saw widespread success through the waning days of the Age of War and into the days of the Star League. It's one of those mech designs that would end up being produced from nearly a dozen different manufacturers across the Inner Sphere because it was so resilient and could meet the needs of a wide range of battlefield roles. It was well armored enough to outlast opponents, it was powerful enough to take down others, and it was fast enough to keep up with forward advances. While we may consider the original loadout today to be extremely lackluster, for a long time the split between the AC-5, SRM-6, and medium laser provided a potent mid and short-range punch. The Wolverine was such a successful mech that even before the collapse of the Star League, effort was well underway to produce a new mech based upon the popular design. Dubbed the WVR-7H Wolverine 2, the mech was given every Star League tech advantage, including an XL engine, endosteel, double heat sinks, and ferrofibrous armor. The weaponry was also upgraded to an Ultra AC-5, SRM-6 with Artemis fire control system, and a medium pulse laser. Had it gone into full production, the Wolverine 2 would have been a game-changer on the battlefields of the Inner Sphere. The manufacturer, Callan Industries, listened to Mechwarrior feedback and made changes in the mech, including dropping that XL engine in a redesign. The addition of case would also improve the quality of life for those lucky enough to be assigned the advanced battle mech. However, hopes for the Wolverine 2 would be dashed, as by the time the first prototypes were being tested, Amaris's coup was on the verge of tearing the Star League apart. Estimates suggest that only roughly 20 Wolverine 2s were ever produced before the coup, and those that were made following it were sent directly to bolster SLDF forces. Every known existing Wolverine 2 left the Inner Sphere with Kerensky's Exodus fleet. By the time that Nicholas Kerensky forged the clans, only a few examples of the Wolverine 2 still existed, and those were quickly snapped up by Clan Wolverine. In a demonstration of the Wolverine 2's effectiveness, Mechwarrior Roger Callahan piloted a Wolverine 2 on a desert biome on Circe to great success against opponents that overheated in the rough environment. Utilizing the double heat sinks, Callahan was able to outlast and outmaneuver heavier and more powerful battle mechs that eventually had to slow and even shut down in the desert heat. Once again, the Wolverine 2 had showed it was worthy of the praise it received. Tragically for the Wolverine 2, none of the battle mechs would survive the obliteration of Clan Wolverine, and no clan would touch the design which was tainted with the shared name. Now you might be asking, MechFrog, why the Wolverine history lesson? The title of that video says Conjurer, does it not? This is false advertising. You will be hearing from my lawyers. To that I say, please trust the frog. I won't let you down. By the early 2800s, there was an obvious need for a battle mech that would fit the Wolverine's profile. Of course, no clan would admit that they needed to upgrade the Wolverine to a 2C. Thankfully, through the power of spite and passive aggressiveness, they did it anyway and just called the resulting battle mech something new. Let's welcome the Conjurer to the stage. Weighing in at 50 tons, the Conjurer was tough, could move quickly, leap great distances, and had enough firepower to make light and other medium mech warriors shudder. Built around a Crucis C endosteel frame and a Hermes 300 fusion engine, The Conjurer is one of the few 2C mechs that avoids that XL engine pick. This was done to keep costs down and to make the mech more durable on the battlefield. It's a direct callback to the Wolverine 1 and 2, which could linger on the battlefield and outlast their opponents. The Conjurer could hit a max speed of 97 km per hour, which is decent, but the inclusion of the 3 tons of jump jets allowed the mech to leap up to 180 meters. This was very often a game changer, as the Conjurer could outmaneuver many light and medium mechs that thought they could cut and run from the larger battle mech. The design also included a unique quirk of being able to torso twist further than the typical battle mech, which caught more than one brave Inner Sphere Mechwarrior off guard, thinking they had gotten the jump on the Conjurer. Blessed with 8.5 tons of ferrofibrous armor, a concerted effort has to be taken to disable a Conjurer, barring a lucky head hit. Numerous battle reports include details on Conjurers returning from battle missing arms and one or both torsos, yet unwilling to yield. The original loadout included 1 Calibri Delta Series large pulse laser located in the right arm, 2 Series 2B extended range medium lasers in the right torso, and 2 Streak SRM-2s in the left torso. This loadout is a good mix of mid and short range power that can put a lot of hurt on targets. The large pulse laser's accurate 10 points of damage can't be ignored for long, or it'll eventually burn through even the thickest of armor plate. Meanwhile, light mechs can't afford to be clipped at all without taking some internal damage. While not heat neutral, the streaks are a worthwhile risk as they only fire with a guaranteed lock. Going 4 heat over at the end of a turn is worth it if you could add that 8 more damage to a target, especially on those light mechs. And while it does lack an autocannon, the Conjurer does have that Wolverine vibe with its mixture of weapons. Like so many aspects of the Conjurer, it just works, and that's why the original loadout is still produced alongside the other specialized and newer variants. Speaking of, the first major upgrade to the Conjurer design arrives in 3062 at the hands of the Nova Cats, who were apparently not paying attention to the purpose of the Conjurer when they gave their new version an XL engine. The consolidated Fusion 350 XL did boost the max speed of the mech to 119 km per hour, but did so at the cost of making the mech more vulnerable to enemy fire. Additional jump jets improved the leap distance to 210 meters, and an extra half-ton of armor partially offsets the engine issue. The Conjurer 2's primary weapon is swapped to an advanced tactical missile system along with 3 tons of ammo, which gives the mech some flexibility across the ranges. Backed up by 2 medium pulse lasers and a targeting computer, the Conjurer 2 can provide accurate, consistent fire. While I'm not a big fan of the shift to the XL engine, Conjurer 2 doesn't share the same mission profile as the original. I see it as much more of a mobile fire support mech rather than a frontline brawler, hunting down light mechs and breaking through the lines of infantry. I'm going to give it a passing grade, but with a little passive-aggressive sticky note at the top that says, "Watch it." Just 2 years later, the Nova Cats would revisit the design again for a third official variant. It kept the standard engine of the original, but swapped the weapons out for 2 medium-heavy lasers, 1 located in each arm, and an ER large laser in the right torso. And all 3 are aided by a targeting computer. Now it is the 3060s and early 3070s here, so there has to be at least 1 heavy laser variant, right? At least this one has a targeting computer. The range is still terrible on those medium heavies, and you're going to have to watch the heat even with 13 double heat sinks. Still, if you enjoy the heavy laser thing, check out the Conjurer 3. In 3065, the Conjurer 4 was introduced, which once again added the XL engine. However, this time it would only be done to buy weight for additional weaponry and 14 double heat sinks. Armed with 4 medium-heavy lasers spread evenly across the arms, as well as a standard medium pulse laser, 2 Streak SRM-6s in the right torso, and 2 light machine guns to tackle infantry, the Conjurer 4 is the Hellbringer of Conjurers. I hope you get that reference. An Alpha Strike would do a tremendous 73 damage. Of course, that would be limited to very close range, and you'd be looking at 14 extra heat at the end of the turn. Now, thankfully, there is a targeting computer, and the 14 extra heat is not outside the realm of possibility if you wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. Now, without any long-range weapons or even anything beyond 12 hexes, the Conjurer 4 is going to have to be one of those mechs you keep out of sight until you can hop in, do its damage up close, and then get out of dodge. 3067 saw the Conjurer 5 embrace the advanced tactical missile systems with a pair of ATM-6s, one located in each arm. Backing them up are a couple of ER medium lasers in that right torso. It's a much more straightforward design without an XL engine, and I appreciate that. Unfortunately, the mech has a fatal flaw in only coming with a single ton of ammo for each launcher, which limits the mech's battlefield effectiveness and eliminates the edge of the ATMs in having multiple ammo types. Of all of the variants, this is absolutely my least favorite, and it flies in the face of the Conjurer mission statement, which included outlasting your opponents. You would be better off just putting LRMs on the darn thing. I award the Conjurer 5 0 points, and may God have mercy on its little mech soul. Stepping back a little bit on the timeline, the Conjurer 6 is first produced in 3063 and not only embraces the XL engine concept, but also strips the mech of its jump jets. The result is a Conjurer that is packed with medium to long range weaponry and 19 double heat sinks. It carries an ER PPC in the right torso, an ER medium pulse laser in the right arm, and 3 ER medium lasers and an LRM-10. Definitely shifts the mission of the mech from being a short and medium range brawler to a more long range sniper role with the LRMs and ER PPC. This build makes sense, though giving up those jump jets to make it happen can get the Conjurer 6 into hot water if you're not careful. The Conjurer 7 is actually a very early variant of the mech which was produced in 2836 and not classified by the Inner Sphere until many years later. It's basically the same as the original design, except instead of the Streak SRM-2s, they've been replaced with LRM-5s, which extend that Conjurer 7's reach. I could definitely see running a mixed stars of the 7s and the originals to constantly harass and hammer an enemy at all ranges. It would definitely be quite fun and frustrating to fight against. The Conjurer 8 is our obligatory Ilclan era variant, introduced in 3142 as a way to rapidly get replacement mechs into the field for the Wolf Empire. This version of the Conjurer has an Inner Sphere 250XL engine in it, which means it has 3 engine criticals in the left and right torsos. I'll give you a second so that the sound of your violent retching doesn't drown out my voice. Now the Conjurer 8 does have a mask system, which is nice since you're not going to want to ever take damage in this thing. 10 double heat sinks, jump jets that'll get you 5 hexes down the road, and a top running speed of 8, just shy of that 9+ bracket. It comes equipped with 2 medium pulse lasers in the right torso, a rotary AC-5 in the right arm, and a Streak SRM-6 in the left torso. I'm going to try to be diplomatic here, but I absolutely hate this version of the Conjurer. It takes the best aspect of the original, the ability to take considerable amounts of damage, and it turns the mech into a glass cannon. And not even a particularly effective cannon either. As someone smarter than me once said, it's not a trade-off, it's all of the off without the trade. Honestly, it's a toss-up between the Conjurer 5 and the 8 for being the worst of the bunch. It just makes me sad. Of all of the variants, 1 and 7 are definitely the best. If you disagree, please let me know in the comments. I revel in the nonsense. So why do we love the Conjurer? The question, the eternal question. I love it because the mech fills that 50-ton brawler role in the clans perfectly. Even eclipsed in popularity by the Omnimechs like the Stormcrow and the Nova, Conjurer can hold its own and still perform well. It's a plucky mech with a cool backstory. Who doesn't love that? So 3 cheers for the Wolverine 2C. This was fun. I was looking forward to doing the Conjurer from the start and glad the stars aligned and I could finally finish the script. Big thank you for watching, and for those who take the extra steps of hitting the like and subscribe buttons and even becoming channel members. You're awesome, and I'm going to keep working hard to make it worth your while. Until we meet again, take care, go make the world a slightly better place today and tomorrow.